For the longest time, we had one option for internet, and in the last couple months, we added a second option so that we have a backup and always have internet no matter where we're at. Your internet needs may be much different than ours, so I'll just be sharing what works for us, as well as some speed tests, and hopefully this will help you decide if one or both of these might be right for you. Hi there, I'm Leanne, and this is Making My Abode on the Road. For the first 2.5 years, we've depended solely on our phones and a dedicated hotspot. This is just what we had at the house and it was working well for us, so we figured we'd just take it on the road and see how things went. So we have 3 phones. My daughter has one, I'm recording on mine right now, my husband has one, and an iPad. So that's a total of 4 hotspots. We would also use RV park Wi-Fi, but of course that's hit and miss. Sometimes it would be excellent and other times it would be just completely worthless, and then somewhere in between. Not really a reliable source of Wi-Fi. The hotspots have worked great for us, for a while. So the dedicated hotspot has 50 gigs of unlimited internet. Really, it's 50 gigabytes of high speed, but then they throttle you, which just means it brings you down to a lower speed. And anyone in the area who hasn't used their 50 gigabytes is prioritized. And then each of our phones has 25 gigs of high speed hotspot, and then it's throttled. We haven't had any issues with the slower internet. Sometimes Netflix will buffer, or Paramount Plus or Amazon won't play at all if we're on the slower speed, or if we're on the slower speed and we just have maybe 2 bars, it just won't play at all. But if we have a good cell signal on the slower speeds, we really don't have any trouble with Amazon or Netflix or any of them except Paramount Plus. I think you just need incredibly high speeds for Paramount Plus. On the slower speeds, uploading my YouTube videos took forever. Pretty much overnight, I would have to let it just upload. The higher speeds work excellent, just comparable to any other high-speed internet. Verizon has 4 different plans for their dedicated hotspots. The first one is the Essential, and you get 15 gigabytes for $20. Then they have the Plus, which is what I have, 50 gigabytes for $17. And then they have Pro, you get 100 gigabytes for $60. And then Premium, 150 gigabytes for $80. Since we already had Verizon before starting RVLIFE, it wasn't an added expense for us. There have been many times, out east, down in a holler, or in Colorado, high up in the mountains, that we have not had a stitch of cell service, which has been incredibly annoying for all of us. So we started looking into some other solutions, like maybe a cell signal booster, which are pretty expensive and really mixed reviews. I want to mention, by the way, you can suspend your Verizon service. You can suspend it on your phones and you can suspend it on the dedicated hotspot, but don't be fooled by that. So when you suspend it, there's kind of some fine print there. If your plan is $10 or more, you're still going to be paying at least $10. So you're still paying a fee even though you're suspending it. So it's not really a true, pause. So just be aware of that. I was dead set against Starlink because it is incredibly expensive. I love the idea, but we kind of just thought, well, let's just wait and see, because the price is probably going to go down. Starlink had a sale going on for the past 3 months or so. 40% off, so down to $299 from $499 just for their hardware, and $150 for the monthly service. So we decided to just go for it. Now that sale ended October 5th, but they've recently had quite a few sales. So even though that sale is over, the price didn't go back to $499. The price for the equipment, the standard equipment, is $349, and then the monthly fee is $165. The kit has everything you need to get started. It has the dish, 50 feet of cord, the power supply, and then the router. So that's very expensive, but it is high speed. And really what finally sold us was the 30-day money-back guarantee. The availability is incredible now all over the United States. And the fact that I can pause the service. So I can pause the service anytime I want, for as long as I want, and restart anytime I want. And they don't charge me during that period. It's if I pause it, I don't get charged until I restart it, and then they'll charge again. By the way, you should know this is not sponsored. Starlink does not sponsor YouTube channels. They don't send you free equipment. We purchased this equipment on our own, and we're paying for this. So just want you to know that. A couple years ago when we first started looking into Starlink, the coverage map was really spotty and there was a lot of wait list. And we didn't really want to wait. So we kind of just figured we'll just not pay for it and wait. But I did not want to pay that much money for internet, especially if it was, you know, subpar. So this is the Starlink map from 2022, and you can see there's just not a lot of coverage. It's really spotty and a lot of wait lists. This map I just screen recorded on my phone the other day, and you can see there's a few spots still not available in West Virginia, in Iowa, New Mexico, Arizona. There's some spots. There's a spot in Colorado, Washington, you know, there's a few small spots, and there's a few tiny waitlist spots, but for the most part, it's available everywhere. So you have some different plan and hardware options. The first one is residential, and your hardware is the standard equipment. The residential plan is really going to be for maybe stationary RVers or your home. The hardware is $349, and the monthly fee is $120 for residential service. Your second plan option is the roam option, which is ideal for RVers and people who travel around. So if you travel often, this is the plan that you need. With the roam plan, you want to just be aware that residential has priority. So let's say you're in an area that has a lot of people have residential Starlink. They're going to take priority over you. So your speeds might be a little bit slower. We haven't experienced any issues with that. No slowing down, no buffering, nothing like that. Some people are saying to go ahead and get the residential and then just change your address each time you move. I don't recommend that. First of all, that sounds like a big pain in the neck, especially if you're moving weekly like us. Sometimes we move every 3 or 4 days. So no, I don't want to deal with that. But also, that's kind of crooked.
He's a crook.
I also don't recommend that because I've heard that you can kind of get kicked out of the service if you change your address too many times. So for the roam plan, you actually have two options for your hardware. First is the standard, and then the plan that you get with the standard is the unlimited, which is $165. The second option is the Starlink Mini, and that equipment is $599. You have two plan options for the Mini. The first one is the $165 unlimited, or you can get 50 gigabytes with the option to buy more data at $1 per gig. There are pros and cons to both of those pieces of equipment, the Mini and the standard, and we chose the standard, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. So let me start with the Mini. First of all, I mean, it's smaller. It's like the size of a sheet of paper. Starlink advertises someone carrying it on their backpack. Which that's great because we have limited space in an RV or a van life or whatever. It uses less power, about half as much power, and your monthly price could be cheaper depending on how much data you use. The 50 gigabyte plan, you know, you kind of really need to know how much data you use right now before you get into this. The 50 gigabytes of data is only about 16 hours of high definition streaming. You can start with the 50 gigabyte plan and move up to the unlimited, but if you move up to the unlimited, you cannot go back down to the 50 gigabyte plan. In September, we used 305 gigabytes of data.
You're too much TV.
And maybe because that was our first month when maybe we were really using the crap out of it. Of course, we probably watched too much TV, but you know.
It is what it is.
So we would have paid $255 more. So it's definitely better for us to get the unlimited. A con of the Mini is it is slower speeds. People are saying that they're not having any issues. It's about 3 times slower than the standard equipment. So you kind of just have to know, you know, what you need, what your needs are, and go from there. For the standard equipment, pretty much one pro, and it's just that it's 3 times faster than the mini. So if you don't mind a little slower speeds, because it's still pretty fast, you know, you could do all the same things, just a little slower. If that doesn't matter to you, the mini might be a really good option for you. And that's pretty much it. For us, it was the best choice because it's cheaper. So a few things that you should know. First of all, so far, we're loving it. We've only had a couple issues with trees. When we were in Washington, we stayed at a place that had giant pine trees, and it definitely blocked the signal, but we could still connect. It just, sometimes it would cut out. But it wasn't that big of a deal. I was actually surprised that we even were able to connect. And then here in Colorado, it's actually working pretty well. Right now we're in Gunnison and I only have 1 bar on my phone. So my phone has been connected to Starlink this entire time. But there is one tree that kind of interferes sometimes, and then sometimes it'll cut out, but it comes right back on. Another thing you should know is, once again, this is not sponsored, but they do have a referral program, and you can get Starlink a whole month free if you sign up through my referral link. So that link will be in the description below at the top, and then also in the pinned comment below. Or you can use this QR code. That free month won't be applied until you actually pay for 1 month. So let's say you purchase your equipment, you receive it, you sign up, you pay for that first month, and then your free month won't be until the following month. The third thing that you should know is that you can buy Starlink now at big box stores. So we purchased ours at Home Depot, which it was nice because we didn't have to wait 2 weeks for shipping, but we could set it up right away that day that we purchased it. Home Depot, Costco, I think Sam's Club also has them. Some Walmart stores have them. Camping World. I don't necessarily recommend that because their prices were crazy high. When I just looked the other day and I was like, why? It was like triple the price. So maybe, I don't know, check your local store prices. Now, if you do purchase your kit in store, the referral link for the free month will not work. So it only applies to if you purchase your equipment online, and it also only applies to the unlimited plan. So you can't get the free month on the 50 gig plan, only on the unlimited plan. The fourth thing that you should know is that you're gonna need the Starlink app on your smartphone to get your dish aligned and to set up your account. It's extremely user-friendly, so it was very easy to set up. We had it up and going with probably within 30 minutes. And the fifth thing that you should know, and I think I already mentioned this, but to pause your service, it is a true pause. They don't keep charging you. You pause it, you don't pay anything until you restart. When you do pause, let's say you start your service on the 1st, and let's say 2 weeks later you pause, you will still have the last 2 weeks of that month. So you've already paid for the entire month, but if you pause it after 2 weeks, you still have those 2 months, but then your next month starts the pause until you restart it. Okay, now for some speed tests. Now, I have to say, I don't really know what these numbers mean when I do the speed test. If it says whatever numbers, I don't know what that means, but if it says excellent or poor or good, then that's good enough for me. But I figured that I would share these numbers for all of you who do know what that means. All I know is that our streaming has been very fast. My videos are uploading super fast. I had one upload within like 30 minutes, which I thought was fantastic. Anything that I've had to do online has been very fast. Everything loads quickly. And Wi-Fi calling has been great too. Actually, every time we're up here in Gunnison, especially by the lake, we have a very spotty service, and even when we do have service, it's like 1 or 2 bars, and forget even trying to make a call. I can't even get Instagram or anything to load. So the Wi-Fi calling on Starlink has been great. I was just talking to my dad the other day, and I asked him because I wanted to know because sometimes you'll sound like a robot on Wi-Fi calling, and he didn't notice anything, so he said it sounded good. For now, our plan is to keep both Starlink and our Verizon service. We're always going to keep that because that's how we have our cell phone coverage. But that way we have a backup either way. So if Verizon isn't working, Starlink should work. If Starlink isn't working, then Verizon should work. Hopefully we don't ever have a time where they both don't work, but if that happens, we'll just go with it. We're going on our second month, and I will definitely keep you guys updated. If we have any issues or anything like that, I will definitely keep you guys updated. We plan on doing some boondocking, so I'm really excited to kind of see how that whole off-grid thing goes with internet and with water and all of that. We just got our inverter. We haven't haven't installed it yet. It's hunting season, so my husband is hunting, and he'll get to that after hunting season. So once we get that all set up, I'll definitely have some videos letting you guys know how our batteries have been working. The Golden Mate batteries, so far it's been great, but I'm excited to get them on solar and just really test it out with some boondocking. So make sure you subscribe, because you're not going to want to miss that, because we have no idea what we're doing, and you could be in for some comedy show. So definitely subscribe and hit that bell notification so you'll be notified when we upload a new video. In the meantime, I know people still struggle with ants. It seems like all times of year. Spring, well, depending on where you are too, especially for RVers. But if that's you, if you're having any trouble, click this video right here and I will show you how to get rid of those things once and for all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.